Hi guys, Super Secret Tech here, and I'm going to be going over my new Pauper list. I recently got inspired. One of our clan members, Call Me Dragon, uh, played in my Pauper event that I host every Thursday night, and he played a mono blue, very counter heavy deck for Pauper. I decided that I really like the idea, but there's probably some changes I can make to make it a little more effective. And so this is what I've come up with. I'm running 20 islands and 4 quicksands is lands. Quicksands really aren't lands in this deck; they're removal spells. Um, I'm calling it TeamGetThere because Delver of Secrets and Spire Golem just kind of get there. Um, as far as for our, I'm going to go over our conditional counters first, and then we'll go to the generic counters. So for conditional counters, we're running 4 exclude and 2 remove souls. Um, I have seen a deck list that uses a different card other than remove soul, but I mean, look at that artwork. Look at that artwork. Full art. Looks amazing. I have to play remove soul. Any chance I get to, if I can play remove soul, I'm going to play it just because the promo is so awesome. For conditional counters, we're running 2 prohibits um, and 1 logic knot. Now, the reason that we're running 4 excludes and 2 remove souls is we don't have a lot of creatures. And most other decks in the format do have a lot of creatures. So, the reason that we have to run excludes and remove souls is so we can stop their whole lot of creatures. Um, and we're going to use some other spells to stop their creatures too. But it's very important having the 6 main deck. Um, the only deck that I can't even think of a deck that you're gonna take out the 6 main deck counter creatures against. Like I don't think there's anything in the format that you don't want to counter some creatures in. The 2 prohibits are really strong um, against a wide variety of decks because you can either counter it for 2 or 4, which is most of the Pauper cards. So it's really strong in Pauper. Like if you're not playing Prohibits and you have them, you should probably try playing Prohibit. It's an amazing card. The 1 Logic Knot is just basically counterspell slash deprive number 9 between main deck and sideboard. Um, but I like the fact that I can delve away cards because you have there's like 1 card, well, there's a couple cards that you care about being in the graveyard, and they're this pile right here. Other than that, you don't care if it's in the graveyard or not, it's already gone. So you can have no issues delving it away. Deprive, even though Deprive in most decks is inferior to Counterspell, in a lot of ways in this deck it's superior to Counterspell because of Una's Grace. Um, because you can return unneeded lands that you've played earlier in the game, like once you've stabilized, you can bring back lands to your hand and draw cards off of them with Una's Grace. So Deprive actually is a real big role player in this deck. And then of course Counterspell are a generic catch-all. Repeal is pretty strong. Being able to bounce a creature that you can't, that you weren't able to counter, is really effective, and it allows for numerous combat tricks. You can either save your creature and draw a card, or you can bounce their creature at end of turn, draw a card, and then counter it when they play it again. Like there's a lot of different um, mechanics that go into Repeal. Like Repeal is probably the most difficult card to play in the entire deck because you have to play it very precisely at the right time against the right deck. Because if you play it wrong, you're going to get blown out. The other thing is this deck, if you are a player that is not technical, this deck is not for you. Um, it will drive you up the wall. You will go batty, and you will be kicking yourself in the face because you're going to lose over and over and over and over again. However, if you are a technical player and you enjoy counter spells, man, is this the deck for you. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the deck that Patrick Chapin would pick up to go play in the Pauper event. Um, because it's very very fun to play if you like blue. Um, the Think Twices and the Una's Grace are just to help stabilize you since you are running 24 lands. Even though basically I've already started joking around that you know I'm running 7 islands, 4 removal spells, and 9 draw cards because that's basically normally how it works out. Like once you get past 7 islands, you're just like Una's gracing every land you get for the rest of the game, which results in huge amounts of card advantage. Because you're never drawing a dead card. That's what's nice about this deck is you never draw a dead card, and it's hard for your opponent to beat never drawing a dead card like past turn like 7. Like if you can get to turn 10, 7 to 10 with this deck, you won. And if you lose, you probably made a play mistake. The other thing that's nice about playing a very technical deck is if they make a play mistake, especially early on in the game, you normally just win the game. Because you're able to capitalize on it and keep moving forward. Now, the other thing is if you make a play mistake, you normally just lost the game. That's kind of how this deck works, unfortunately. Uh, but Think Twice, the reason I'm running that over Accumulated Knowledge, because I originally tried it out with Accumulated Knowledge in it, and then I went back to Think Twice, is because you really need those aggressive helpers early in the game, and you don't care so much about the card draw late in the game because you have Una's Grace. And Una's Grace is all the card draw you ever need late game. Brainstorm and Preordain, the reason I'm running a 2 and 2 package instead of like 2 Preordains and 2 Ponders, anything like that, is simply to fix your turn 1 and turn 2 plays and to set up for Delver. Um, Preordain is really, really strong for setting up for Delver, and I think it's more consistent than Ponder with not having fetch lands in the format. Like, yeah, if we had sack lands, I would definitely be running Ponder there. We don't, so I think Preordain's better, because you can still set up exactly what you want. You can pick the card you're gonna draw, and then you can set one back for Delver, which is really, really strong. And then Brainstorm, you just put one of your instants from your hand on top for Delver flips. Um, the other thing is you're just running a lot of instants. So Delver's going to flip pretty quickly almost every single time. Like in the first 2 turns that he's out, he normally flips. And it's normally the very first turn he flips. Every once in a while you'll get unlucky and hit the land pout. And I've even been like think twicing and Innis Gracing and like just keep popping lands with Delver. But I mean, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes the shuffler is very unkind to you. Um, but most of the time, Delver's gonna flip like instantly. Like the next turn, he's gonna flip because you're just running so many instants and sorceries. For the sideboard, I'm running 3 Coral Nets. Um, I've tried a couple of different cards here. I just think Coral Net's by far the best. It does exactly what you want it to do. It either knocks out their creature, or it discards their hand and then you knock out their creature. Either way, you're fine. Like if they want to sack the creature right away, great. If they want to keep discarding their hand and not play anything else the rest of the game, great. Either way, you win. Um, the deprives are really for the decks where you really have to counter a lot. Deprive is really really good there, and so you'll normally bring those in. Like for example, against the Is It Post list that only runs Ulamog's Crusher, you're gonna take out 2 Remove Soul and 1 Exclude, and bring in 2 Deprive and 1 Negate. Um, but that's only the version that just runs the Crusher, and I still would leave 3 Exclude in main deck, even against that deck, because you really need that Exclude to hit that Crusher. Um, Pyroblast is really good against the red decks, like the goblins and stuff. Pyroblast is huge against them. It's really good against the Is It Post deck, the red blue post deck. It's also really good against the Delver Fiend deck because you can blow up their pump creatures, which is really really nice. Um, the negate again, just a cheap, effective destroy uh, non-creature spell, like just counter it, get out of here. Piracy Charm, again, I'm starting to play this card more and more and more. I really like this card. In Pauper, though, it is amazing against the aggro decks. Like, Infect and Mono Green Stompy just lose to Piracy Charm. It's so strong. Um, like, if you haven't tried Piracy Charming an Infect creature yet, you are so missing out. It is amazing. You have the best feeling in the world. Like, especially when they're targeting it with, well, Invigorate's banned now, but like, uh, they're targeting it with like Vines of Astwood, and you just Piracy Charm. Like, it's a great feeling. It's a complete blowout. Uh, Steel Sabotage is against Affinity and Serrated Arrows and the nasty artifacts that are in the format. Steel Sabotage does a really good job of taking care of those. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it and have fun trying Team Get There.